gas store, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
All right, it's a new week, and we got treated with another of Disney's favorite Star Wars pastime. They announced another movie. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe. Of course, with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey, Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Another movie. Yay.
Yeah. Just really wish their pastime was making movies.
Yeah, exactly.
They love announcing.
Announcing and setting dates and you know, that kind of stuff. But hey.
Yeah. One of them's bound to come out.
Well, you know, I mean...
Law of averages, right?
Yeah. I guess if you say it enough times, click your heels together, it'll magically appear. I don't know.
But I guess before we get to the movie announcement, it only took 1 week for them to make us a liar.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it's of course that's how it goes down. I love it.
So, what we're talking about is, they've come out and said it. Ahsoka season 2 is going into production.
Yeah.
What that means, writing, I don't know. I don't know if any writing was done yet, or...
Well...
Yeah, obviously, we don't know these things.
The Ahsoka X account says, the story continues. Ahsoka Season 2 now in development with Dave Filoni. Yeah, whatever that means. So, he woke up one morning, hey, I got an idea. I don't know, something.
I would imagine that he has an idea on where he's going with this.
Oh, I'm sure. I was just, poking fun at it, that's all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an announcement, right?
Right. I mean...
Grain of salt.
After last week, Rosario Dawson says, nope, haven't heard a thing. It's like...
Well, I think that just confirms what we said. They just haven't done any development whatsoever.
Right, which... I guess you could say, good for Dave. He stuck to his guns, in solidarity with his the SAG-AFTRA writers, all that going on over the summer.
Right.
And, it's not like he was secretly developing stuff on the down low, as soon as they call off the strike. Hey, look, here's all this work that's already automatically done,
Right. No, he's stuck with his trade fellows,
So, yeah.
Yeah, which, I guess is good. I mean, either that or he said he did.
Right.
I'm working on it now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look at this stack of papers for the next 3-4 months, and then I'll give it to you.
Exactly. I'm going to run it through spell check one more time.
So, no, that's good news, though. It's, what we want to hear. Didn't want, something like everything going on and, the mad dash to try and get content out and stuff to bury something like a season 2 for a show like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it's just now in development, though, I mean, that means we're not going to see anything till 25 for sure. So.
Yeah, that would be my guess. I mean, you would expect, late 24 at the earliest.
Oh.
But if they ain't even shot yet.
I was going to say that'd be pushing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, if you come out holiday time, post doesn't necessarily have to be done on all the episodes.
True.
They release them weekly.
True, but I would I would think it'd be more likely a spring of 25 release. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'd second that. But I mean, like I said, they say they're starting production. We don't know what stage of production. You know, the writing might be done. It might have been done before they even shot season 1.
Maybe.
So,
I would say outlines probably were for sure. And, you know, I mean, how can you resist? I mean, you got to release episode 1, season 2 on May the 4th. That's just, you know, because they always got to do something on May the 4th.
That's some time crunch there.
Oh, I'm talking about 2025.
Oh, yeah. Well, what are they going to do this May 4th?
Bad Batch season 3.
I guess that could be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what they'll do. They'll announce another movie that's going to come out.
And sticking with tradition.
Yes. Man, we're just becoming jerks, aren't we?
I mean, yeah. It's funny though.
Yes, it is. I mean,
we're doing it in jest though. You know, it's not
right. Yeah, for whatever there is that comes out, you know, May the 4th or any other time, we'll be there for it. But,
yeah, we're gonna go.
Right.
Like we're not those. Like we're not the ones. I'm done with Star Wars.
No.
Like you lying sack of. You know, like. You know, that always cracks me up. Like I'm done. I'm done with Star Wars.
Right.
And then somehow that same guy's got an opinion on the thing that just came out.
Yeah.
Like how the hell are you done?
Right.
You got me on this one, brother. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess you know, it'd be funny if May the 4th was this movie that was just announced.
Oh, that would be funny.
And I guess we'll go into that because I have some logic behind that.
Okay.
So, just announced they're doing a movie. Jon Favreau at the head, right?
Right.
It's, I'm guessing tentatively, just being labeled as The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
I don't know if that'll be the title. Did they say it's the title? I don't think so.
Everywhere I'm looking at, you know, those words put together, it's in quotes. So I'm guessing, you know.
It's a tentative title?
I mean, Favreau will produce, quote, The Mandalorian and Grogu, unquote, with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy and, quote, Ahsoka, unquote, creator Dave Filoni. So I guess they're putting all of that in quotes as titles. So
I will say Grogu and The Mandalorian flows better. But
right. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Who are we all there to see?
The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
I'm still waiting for his story, damn it.
Well, he is. Good luck. Good luck.
3 seasons. I still don't know who the hell this guy is.
I mean, you got a pretty good idea, you know.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda. But my thought is this. Is this you know, Bob Iger made this decision to start directing Star Wars back towards the big screen.
Right.
You know, the bleeding money of Disney Plus is probably the reason for that.
Yes.
But I mean, you understand why it's bleeding money. It was very ambitious what they did.
Sure.
these were big budget productions for a streaming service. They thought they were the established Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they came out very strong because, like, hey, we're under the Disney banner here. This is gonna work.
Right.
We put Disney on it. It's like printing money,
Exactly.
So my thought would be that this is just going to be season 4 in a movie.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think you're right, though. I reading this whole article, they talk about, was it the Rise of Skywalker, which grossed $1 billion globally, to say things like that. It's those sort of numbers need to be like, that's what Bob Iger's thinking about, right? We need another $1 billion worldwide grossing movie because Marvel ain't doing that anymore. And, we gotta
Disney
have
proper
something.
ain't doing that, like,
Right. He's like, what does everyone still love that we got? That's right, Baby Yoda. Okay, let's do that. I mean, it's kind of the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
It's logical. So
this whole article, which is in Variety, it does give us some dates. We were just talking dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like how they put this. It's funny. We have to caveat everything. Though Disney's release calendar is constantly changing, an untitled Star Wars movie is scheduled for May 22nd, 2026. A separate movie set in a galaxy far, far away is set for December 18th, 2026, while a third Star Wars adventure is opening on December 17th, 2027. Disney hasn't clarified the specifics of any of those movies. So, those are according to Variety. So,
we're still looking at like 26. Like, what was our first date for?
Oh, man.
Was it 25?
It might have been 25.
So are they only like with all the mayhem?
Oh, and the strikes and
They're still only a year out from. That's weird.
I'm trying to remember if the Patty Jenkins movie was supposed to be 24 or 25. I don't recall. Because wasn't it supposed to be 24, like December of 24, and then it got pushed back a year, and then, maybe we'll get to it someday, or I don't know.
That's weird to me still. Like, the only movie that got like a promo is canceled.
I know. Is it canceled, or is it maybe we'll get to it someday?
Oh no, it's their favorite word, right? Shelved.
Shelved, yes. Yes. I think they even used that term in this article somewhere. Yeah. But
It's sitting right next to Underground.
wait.
And 1313.
New installments in the space opera series from director Patty Jenkins and Marvel producer Kevin Feige were announced but never came to fruition.
How can they say that? None of them come to fruition.
I know. I mean, there's the Taika Waititi one is still in play, right? I mean,
yeah, and everybody's gonna hate it.
yeah, I think you're right.
That's what he said.
See, I love it when they come out and they say, you know, I'm going to do something different in Star Wars. Why? I mean, because, you know, when everyone was doing Star Wars stuff in Star Wars, that's when we kind of liked it. So, you know, I mean, stop trying to make it different.
I always love that. Man, you see that thing over there? See how good it's doing? I'm going to change it.
Yep. Exactly. I'm going to make this thing. Half of you are going to hate it. It'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll never see this coming.
The problem is everyone's got the same idea now.
I know. It's like the new secret sauce that everyone buys but hates.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Are you talking about sriracha? I mean, just saying.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding.
Sriracha's delicious.
Oh.
No, I'm talking about kale, all right? Like,
Kale? Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
like, you know, they're eating it and they're making that squinty face. Like,
Yeah,
it's good.
I'm just going to say your face is all contorted. I love this stuff.
It's really good.
Oh, how can we make it better? Turn it into a shake.
Yeah. It's better because it goes down faster.
Exactly.
You ain't got to chew it for 20 minutes.
If I let it just roll right by my tongue, maybe I won't taste it.
You know what I found, though? Like with kale, it's really good if you make it with the other superfood.
Avocado toast?
No, bacon.
Oh, excellent. Okay. I'm proud to say that I've never had kale, so.
Really?
Ever.
If you ever do, black kale's where it's at.
Okay. Wow. Oh, you're a connoisseur, apparently.
No, it's the only one that was edible.
Gotcha.
So
excellent.
I put edible as where it's at.
Okay. Oh. You know what that tells me?
What's that?
I am correct for never having had kale.
Well, okay. I know this is a tangent, but you had collard greens?
A couple times, yeah.
Okay. So you know how, like, especially if they're not cooked right, how chewy and stuff collard greens can be?
They can be, yeah.
Yeah. When cooked right, they're fantastic.
Right.
But, so imagine collard greens not prepared correctly, right? It's chewy and stuff.
Yep.
But imagine that, but there's no flavor.
Oh. So bad texture and flavor. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's like, I love this.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some kale fans out there really, really triggered right now.
Yep. Well, sorry.
Yep. Choose better food.
Choose better food. Right. I like your suggestion of bacon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely makes it better. Or, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, just say you're trying to keep meat out of it. Just onions and garlic would probably do wonders.
Okay. I'm down with onions and garlic.
Yep.
They're good.
So, all right. Back to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who had kale tangent on their bingo card?
Yeah, no doubt. That was not planned.
That was weird.
Exactly.
All right. Where were we? Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes, and movies slated for 2026.
So, yeah, I could see that one being a quick turn one, you know?
Well, yeah, because I'm sure a lot of the writing and stuff has probably been in the works for a while. You know?
At least kind of storyboarded or something like that,
yes,
you know?
Yes.
Because you had this show that was very successful. So I'm sure you didn't just like, you know, put it on the shelf next to everything else.
Exactly.
So.
And you know what? Doing a feature film, this might be a good opportunity for them to actually get Pedro Pascal back in the mix, you know? You could definitely do it without him, right? But bring him in, you know, it's a feature film, so why not? You know, we're counting on this making some good money so we can pay you, you know, that sort of thing. I don't know.
Right.
I just, and I mean, actually being on screen, not just the voice, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, Pedro Pascal's made more money than Disney Plus. Like.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
The really sad thing about that is that's true.
Yeah, well.
So, no, but because correct me if I'm wrong, because of the strike and everything, Andor's been pushed back, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because I think
yeah.
Andor was originally going to be this year.
Because during the strike, Tony Gilroy was talking about not being able to work on it, if we recall. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it got pushed to 25.
It's possible, yeah.
So, yeah, they need something that they can put at least promotional stuff out before the end of the year.
Yeah, totally.
Because, I mean, with Acolyte and all that, actually, they're coming to fruition this year.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need something to carry you over into the next year after such a down year that we had this year because of the strike and everything. Because, you know, it's been quiet on the Star Wars front for, you know, quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny to say when you say this year, you mean 23, like this past year?
Yeah, 23 this past year.
So
still getting used to this New Year thing.
But you know, we got things like Ahsoka, right?
Right.
I mean, you know, that was a big one for a lot of people, you know. So
it was huge. It was huge, and I don't want to like undersell it. But.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I think because of that, knowing that it is in production is going to reassure a lot of fans. You know, it's like, okay, we're getting more of this. We liked what we saw, so
right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up our Star Wars talk.
Yay! Go Star Wars!
Yeah. But I mean, it in all honesty, it's weird because that was exciting because there's been nothing.
Right, I know.
And so these little nuggets, it's helpful. It's helpful. Makes us feel good, warm and fuzzy.
Of course, yeah.
So, all right. Well, we mentioned we were going to do it after Fall of the House of Usher. So let's talk Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Rebel Moon. Sounds a little derivative.
Gotcha. That's no moon. Yeah.
Yeah. So we both got the opportunity to sit down and watch it.
Right.
Ironically, both at the urging of a mutual friend.
Right. Yes. Now, he saw this before either of us, I believe, and said,
"You gotta see it. This is a really great movie.
Yes, really good movie. You guys are gonna love it." Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I liked it.
Oh, it was an enjoyable watch.
Right.
Okay. Let's be fair, right? It's a setup film. There's a part 2.
True. Yes.
So, and who knows? It might be a trilogy.
Right.
Wonder where they got that idea.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I guess everything ever, right?
Yes.
But yeah, it's a setup film, so we can be fair with that.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it was a little overhyped.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Overhyped. I don't know. I don't, man. Before I saw it, I saw a lot of reviews that said it's just a rehashing of Star Wars, blah 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 blah. You know, and it had those elements from time to time. But it was like, it's really not Star Wars, right?
I was gonna say that. Like I say, and I'll use a little bit of strong descriptors for that. I'll say calling Rebel Moon a rehash of Star Wars is very arrogant.
Yeah.
If that's the route you're going to go with this, you can call a lot of films a rehash of Star Wars.
Right.
And then if your criteria is these elements that are pulled from Star Wars as inspiration, then George Lucas is just a big ripoff.
Yeah.
All right. Like that's the level of, I did not see this as a ripoff of Star Wars.
No.
Does it have a lot of similarities? Sure.
Right.
You know, but I mean, it's probably because the inspiration for part of it is, you know, Joseph Campbell.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, it's got more of the hero's journey elements to it than just saying Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know,
Even kind of screwed the hero's journey thing up a little bit.
I mean that's where a lot of people came from with that description is, you know, young person from farm, you know, goes to bar, bunch of aliens in bar, you know, meets a guy who's gonna take him on a ship, you know, and it's like, okay, you're boiling this down to most basic components here, you know, it's like, come on,
Right.
It's
right. Yeah, I mean, I thought there were a lot of creative elements to it, right? Like, one, I would say this was more sci-fi than Star Wars is.
yes, absolutely,
It had its fantasy elements, right?
yep,
But this leaned more towards science fiction.
yeah,
Whereas, like, I would definitely put Star Wars more in the fantasy camp than science fiction.
yeah, totally.
I will say the I don't know what they call them. They don't call them blasters, right? They call them guns. I don't know.
Right.
They call them anything.
I know. I'm not sure. Hey, whatever it is, it's too dangerous to, you know. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, they definitely had a energy weapon element, but with a projectile base. Like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. The impression I got was like whatever the projectile is in there, it comes out like molten, like,
Yes.
you know, and when it hits something, it kind of like splatters, you know. That was kind of a neat take on you know, projectile weapons. I did like that. You know,
I will say this, especially with the weapons being taken into consideration. I would like to rewatch this with an opportunity to really like crank the sound.
Yeah.
Because I watched it in a manner that like I'm trying not to disturb other people.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I didn't go all let's get the full experience here.
Gotcha.
I think the sound would definitely amplify this movie. This is another one that I think that it probably would play better on a big screen.
Right.
I think it's kind of getting robbed of what some of its magic could be by being on Netflix.
I think you're right. You know, it probably would have done well. I mean, even if Netflix, you know, decided to, you know, do whatever it is that they have to do to get a limited run. Look, we're going to play this for one weekend or 1 week in the theaters, and then it's on Netflix. Something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? They might do pretty well with that. I don't know. I don't know what it takes to do that, but I mean, I would imagine, you know, it would give a lot of the movies that have been coming out lately a run for its money, I think.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And like one of the things that really gives me that is when the Dreadnought is firing its like it's big guns, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Kind of railgun kind of thing.
Yep.
That would be a scene that in the movie theater.
Yes.
That would kill. Yeah, it's just all right. I mean, I guess we should actually discuss some of the elements of the film. I mean, I guess.
Okay. We just got to get this part out first, though. I think, like, something we both noticed, right? You can go ahead and say it. Every fight scene had certain elements that were like, huh.
Wait. We both noticed every fight scene had certain element.
Yeah.
What am I missing here?
Well,
Am I blanking on something we talked about before?
Yeah, like every fight scene goes into slow motion and
And lens flare.
yes.
Yeah, my immediate. I actually made the joke. Like, did J.J. Abrams make this? Like,
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like it got to the point where it was like, oh, we're doing this again. Okay.
yeah. The lens flare got a little ridiculous. The slow motion I kind of understood.
Yeah, to a degree, but I mean, it was kind of almost the same every time. Like as soon as you go into action, it's like everything slows down, and then you get this big distortion guitar chord kind of,
Right.
music to it, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're doing that, okay. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but I did get to the point where I was like, okay, we're doing this again for this fight. Okay.
Right. Let's see, I'm pulling up some. I had to expand my cast and crew here because I'm like trying to remember some names. The girl Cora saves in the beginning.
Oh, yes. I'm
not finding it.
The blonde girl.
Yes. Must be further down the list. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because none of them standing out to me. But either way, that first scene, talking about the slow motion and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
That one overdid it.
Yes.
Like every time she went to a new combatant.
Yep.
Slow motion.
Yes.
And then like they kept going over the shoulder to the commanding officer there.
Yes.
And it's like, are you going to take the shot? She's in the open.
Right.
Like, what are you waiting for?
Agreed.
And you keep going like he's gonna just stop it because she's out in the open. It was like a whole lot of buildup for like, okay, they didn't do anything with that. Why'd they keep going to that shot? Like, it almost kind of made the fight seem ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because he never fired his weapon. And he's watching her move from combatant to combatant right out in the open. It's like, it's not like she's moving behind cover and like, no, she's in the middle of an open room, a barn, essentially.
Right.
So I thought that was very poor use of a camera angle that made your shot look dumb.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It was it kind of made you like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, going to that angle kind of like put everything you're saying out into the open, right? Like, if you'd have never gone to that angle, you might not have thought about that guy having a shot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But by doing that, you made it clear that, yeah, he could have taken a shot at her at any time.
Right.
Yet he had to keep his gun pointed at his hostage, you know. Or did he? I don't know.
No.
Okay. He pointed it. So, yeah, that makes it even worse.
Yeah,
but
he had his gun pointed out at the room. So that's where I was just really like, why are you doing that? If you're not going to, like, you should probably keep it on your hostage then.
Right.
That's your play here.
Yeah.
And it really seems like a bad play. Because if you're any good, she's right there.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So, all right. Circle back to the arrival of the forces from, was it the Mother World?
Yeah, the Mother World.
This element to the story kind of got me a little bit. The guy that's like, oh no, maybe they just want to be friends. We could just give them what they want. They're gonna go away. Yeah, that's what people that show up with a show of force do. Always.
Yeah.
They just they're
know.
here to be friends.
He seemed to be driven by wanting to make some cash, right?
Well, that was the initial element. Like,
yeah.
And you got that. He's kind of like, hey, we can make some money here.
Right.
That made sense.
Yes.
They can be good allies. I don't think that's what they're here for. They got that. What do they need you for?
Exactly. Yeah. So, yes, you're right. Some of those elements were a little weak. Yeah. As far as, I don't know.
So,
motivations, I guess.
Well, and in discussions with our mutual friend there, I said, what's their, like, what's stopping them from going back? And I know I'm gonna jump around.
That's all right.
What's stopping them from going back and just using that railgun and leveling that farm? Right?
Right. Yeah, nothing. I mean, that's kind of the threat, right?
Right. And he says to me, he goes, well, they said, they need their resources. They need to eat. They need to feed their armies. I was like, then why level the place that was feeding the rebels? just use your forces and take that.
Right.
That's it. That place seemed pretty well off.
Occupy it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can walk in and go right to their regent, it's not going to be much of a fight.
Exactly.
Because you were literally able to walk in and go right to their regent and take out their entire hierarchy.
Right.
So why not just take the resources? Why level it?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, that's right. Because they got the little farm. With people that are probably rising up against them.
Yeah.
So I thought those elements were very weak.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. It's I don't know. I like this. There's elements of this that I really like. Okay.
Oh, I'm with you.
There's this whole idea of it's almost Sun Tzu type thinking, right? You actually have a play out on screen. It's like, would you rather be a warrior on a farm or a farmer in a war, right? And you get both elements in this, okay? And you see how it plays out, and I like looking into those and exploring those ideas. But how they get there, it seems like it could have been a little deeper. That's all for me.
Right.
Yeah. I will say the guy that plays the Atticus Noble, right? I liked how he played that character. But almost I wish you'd have gave him something more to like dig up on the village, as opposed to, I don't know, looks like that field could produce more food than what you're telling me. It's like, that's really not his area of expertise, is it? Like just looking at it, how would he know?
It's like, oh, you're a farmer now.
Right. So I don't know. If he's going to catch him lying, use some of his deductive reasoning that he knows from the military to catch him lying about something else or something. Maybe that the villagers are hiding weapons for something. They're going to try and make some money on running some guns, and he figures it out. Something that would be a better plot line in my opinion. But
yeah,
something.
Yeah, because like I'd agree with that. Like, oh, it looks like these would do better than that. Like, where do you get that from?
Exactly.
Like, are you a closet green thumb? Like,
right. I don't know. He actually brought up green thumb, right? One of you's got to be the green thumb around here. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, apparently it's you. You can just look at a field and say, oh, it looks like it would produce this much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, yeah, just, you're right. The argument there is just like, oh, it looks like it would do this. Well,
right.
I don't know how you can just look at dirt and go, oh, yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you know farming.
Right. Yeah.
And even still, anytime you see someone who's a farmer, right?
Yep.
And I know it's film, right? But they always have those elements that show that they know what they're looking at, right? They grab a handful of the earth and they move it around in their fingers. They smell it. Hell, sometimes they even taste it, right?
Yep.
You know, so they're taking it in through different senses.
Yes.
And that's how they know that, okay, this earth is fertile. This is good earth.
You don't just land your ship, walk up, give someone a hug, and say, that looks good.
Hey, you see the color of that dirt? It looks good.
Exactly.
Because you know what it looks like? It looks like dirt.
Oh, I love it. But yeah, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of good elements, right? Like there's good stuff. It's entertaining.
Yes. No
but
doubt.
Just not a whole lot of depth, right?
Right.
Like I want to know this, right? How does, I know jumping around here.
It's all right.
How does Mr. General Dude become the regent? After the king dies.
Right. Yeah. I got a feeling we're going to find out a lot more of that kind of stuff. Something, there's a lot of stuff that I think we're going to see more of. I think there's going to be something, about this, this girl, the robot says, you remind me a lot of the princess, right? I got a feeling she's going to have maybe the same powers that the princess had or something. And the robot itself, that was a very intriguing character, that I want to know more about this robot, because he's going to play a role in this somehow.
I thought that in this movie.
Right. But I think in the story moving forward, it'll have more of a role. At least I hope so, because I kind of want to see that. And this is one place I will give this movie credit for, is that Cora, our main character, she goes to save this girl, and all of a sudden, boom, you see, wow, she's a badass. And it's like, it's not like she just walked out of the field and became a badass, right? We get this backstory on her. We get to understand right away why she's so good at fighting, which I did appreciate.
Yes. Yeah. Through an entire lifetime of training.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like she was just, a scavenger or something. Sorry, had to. But so it had those type of elements, which I thought, okay, that's a win. But then, some of the weaker plot points and stuff we were talking about. So it's kind of like a toss-up as to,
I don't think it lacked in individual character development.
True.
I think individual character development they did fairly well.
Right.
You have, they're either explaining their story or there's flashbacks to their story, just things that kind of gave you a background.
Yeah.
Like even before we got to the blood axes, you kind of got like a little like kind of teaser as to why or who they are, right? How they came to be.
Right.
Just a little.
Yep.
But enough.
Yes. Really, the only one that we didn't get that much about is the dude who betrays them all. You know?
Yeah, but he kind of, I mean, you say that, but he kind of explained himself along the way.
Right, but
you got to cast that into doubt because...
Exactly, because he's just lying from the get. So it's like...
But I got to say, most predictable thing ever.
Was his betrayal?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
I didn't believe him for 1 second.
Right.
I don't know why they did. I mean, it's a story, and they're not real, but...
Exactly.
But I'm just like, this dude is going to betray you.
Right.
I mean, he even tells you, I'm an opportunist.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Even the fact that he's like, we have to make a stop first. I might know someone who's good for your cause, you know. It's kind of fishy, really, when you think about it, you know. That's when they pick up John Carter and... Yes. Okay. You got that. Good. So, yeah. Rides around.
For a second, I was like, the hell's John Carter? Oh.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, yeah, he gets to fly around on a 4-legged chicken. But, yeah, the betrayal, yeah, kind of knew something like that had to come, right?
Yeah, I mean, telegraphed. I mean, it was very much telegraphed. But, I mean, you can say that in most cases in most movies, right?
Yeah, true.
We've all seen enough movies at this point in the game.
Right.
That stuff like that usually is not that big of a surprise.
Right.
Especially when the character is shady as hell to begin with.
Yep.
You know, is literally giving the guy that you came to see initially to the guys that you're trying to fight.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's got to throw some red flags, you would think.
You'd think.
And then tells you, like, well, I'm an opportunist. Oh, yeah, we can totally trust this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
What? So.
Yeah. I don't know. This, you know, like you said, this was it was the setup episode, I guess you could say. And,
Right.
You know, this was the gathering up of the crew, right? This is, you know, getting your small band of freedom fighter leaders together, you know. I don't know. It is. I guess we're ready for the next episode. You know, I mean, it's a. We've seen that sort of thing, you know, 100 times over. You know, gotta gather up the band of you know, rebels to fight the tyranny. So
to fight Space Rome.
Space Rome, exactly. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally Space Rome. Like, I mean, that's immediately what I thought of too. With the king dies, so the emperor dies, right?
Right.
And it's immediately the general with the biggest following that takes his spot.
Typical, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one of your generals is, you know, betrayed the empire. Now he's a gladiator somewhere.
Right.
Like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a yes, exactly. A drunk gladiator, which is even better.
Very drunk.
Yes. Don't call him General.
Yeah. I will say one disappointing part for me, and I gotta give him credit for this.
Credit for disappointing you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it'll make sense after I say it. Blood Axe, the brother.
Yes.
Now
I know where you're going. Yep.
This is not a character when watching a film like this that you expect to die so fast.
Exactly. I agree 100%. I wanted to see more out of that character.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and he was like your they established him right away as the leader that's going to be, you know, the guy that they're going to follow to the end, right? Like,
right.
You know, and then they kill him off. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming, not one bit. I mean, I did after he decides to go running up that, you know. Look, the opportunistic ramp never works out.
I know. Yeah. What I will say, I think this is going to set up though, is the sister, was it Devra Blood Axe?
Yes.
I think they're going to have to forge some sort of, you know, fragile alliance with her faction, and you know that could cause some, we'll just say, fraying in the rebellion a little bit, you know, just as a extra little side plot, you know, and you know, come together for a common purpose, but you know, she'll be torn because this is the cause that her brother died for, and these are the people who got him killed, right? So,
Oh, you think she'll have that kind of grudge?
maybe. I mean, it's what I'm seeing. You know, I'm in my crystal ball.
I mean, because I kind of got the impression that, looking back on it, like he didn't expect to come back.
Really?
Yeah, like thinking about it, you know, we will see each other again, you know. Like, I was like, wow, you know, it kind of seems like he knew he was going to his doom.
Interesting.
Hindsight. It's not the way I took it when I initially saw it. But, like, hindsight looking at it is like, yeah, he did kind of act that way. Oh, and his speech, he literally said, who's willing to die for this?
Right.
So, I don't think he anticipated coming back, and I think she got that vibe too.
Huh. Well, I didn't get that from it, that, you know, he was thinking he might never come back, but hey.
Yeah, just the way I felt about it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. You know, just because he used those words, you know, who's willing to die for what we, you know, we
Right.
believe in.
Right. That makes sense.
Which, I mean, that's the stereotypical speech, right?
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's like, you know, like even in like Starship Troopers, right? You know,
Yeah.
you know, come on, you want to live forever? You know, like,
Exactly. Yeah, they lifted that from, I forget what general. World War One. Yeah.
right.
But still.
But
Yeah.
still, it was that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And speaking of real world military like coincidences, I guess. The next part in this is coming out on April 19th. So I thought that was I'm sure it's an accident, but that's rebels, and which is what the United States colonists were considered when the British marched on Lexington and Concord on April 19th. So I just, that's just the way my brain works. I'm constantly, that stuff's kind of.
You know what? Though, like, I don't think that's an accident.
Really? Okay.
No, and the only reason I think that is Zack Snyder.
That's possible. If he did it on purpose, if that's on purpose, I give him credit for that because, that's the sort of thing that's going to go over most people's heads. I'm a unique individual that way, and it's like I can appreciate the thought that's put into it. Then,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, being Zack Snyder, I could definitely see that being what he was going with.
Right.
So, I don't know. All right. I guess we'll go ahead and just kind of skip to the end here.
Oh yeah, that postscript kind of thing.
Yeah, this first off, like you got your, they bring him in, talking about, yeah, I didn't like this name either. Atticus Noble, right?
Right. Yes.
They recover him after his fight with Cora. He looks pretty well dead.
Yes.
You imagine he's pretty well dead. But they, go and hook him up to all these tubes and stuff. And at first I'm like, oh wow, they're using him kind of like no, see, everything's fine here. Don't bring us in and decimate us, like just using his last activity of his brain to kind of send all's well to the regent, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
That was my first vibe.
Gotcha. Yep.
I'm like, oh, that's crafty.
Right.
Kind of buy yourself a little time before
Which they did establish that you could go into somebody's brain after they recently died and collect more information.
So that's where I was because it was the first guy they captured, right?
Right. Yes.
They said, yeah, see if you can garner anything else from him.
Yes.
After they just severed his spinal cord from his.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, he's dead. But yeah,
that was a brutal one. I'm like,
I know.
They showed that. I'm like, damn. I mean, did you really need to lock it in?
I know. That was rough.
And then you got like a targeting system. I'm like, it's holding the head in one place.
Exactly.
If your hole's centered and you lock it in, I mean, you're going to hit it.
It is true.
Because, I mean, you got like the EpiPen of death right there.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I took that, that they can go in and get that information and stuff. So I thought they were just kind of using that last bit of brain activity for like, some puppet master stuff.
Right.
Which I thought would have been cool, but because like I said, you got that whole Roman vibe.
Yep.
Failure, you come back, decimating your own ranks to get rid of the weak links.
Right.
And to bring everyone in line, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So I give him credit for that. You got my brain working, right? Like I'm trying to piece together my own story before it even happens.
Exactly.
But yeah, it turns out that they were able to jumpstart him.
Yeah. Well, they had the tubes hooked up. They were pumping all the colors into them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell that was, but hey, it seemed to work. You got the jarring deep breath at the end. Yeah.
Yep. Pumping all the colors.
Well, I don't know what that stuff was. It was colorful, though.
It was colorful. The whole thing. Man. That just... So first off, I automatically got to ask, like, what's with the charging port? Like they just pull skin aside and, like, hook them up at the charging port, right? Like,
right.
I'm like, all right, is this guy some kind of android to begin with?
Yeah, I don't... Oh, that's right. Yes. Yes, in the head, right?
Was it in the head?
I think it was in his head. It was like, well, that looks like Matrix type stuff there to me.
Yeah.
That was odd. Okay.
What made it even weirder was, like, he was using, like, a port in his side or whatever, right?
Yes.
In the beginning.
Yes.
Which I thought he was just getting high.
That's what I thought, too.
And it's like, wow, that's an interesting way to get high. And then he goes over and there's, like, some tentacle beast. I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on?
Exactly. Yes. There are some weird things going on in this. Yes. You're like, huh, okay.
And you know what? I kind of hope they don't ever explain it.
Agreed.
Just so you can kind of look back and go, okay, seriously, what the hell was with that?
I don't know. He's just hanging out with Borgullet. I'm just, throwing that out there.
Borgullet?
Yep.
I can't even do Forrest Whitaker.
I know.
I'll be coughing for a week. Yeah, that's funny. Just hanging out with Borgullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was weird, and I want to know what it is, but at the same time, I kind of want to, like, dude, just leave that like that. Don't ever explain that.
Right.
Just have that be that weird moment.
I'm not sure I want to know what that is.
Right. Yeah.
I'm better off
probably
not
so,
knowing.
Yeah, probably better off. Because it's like, man, why are you feeding your plant? Like, is that what this is? Like, you hooked up the plant food and then you feed your plant like that. Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the first thing I thought was like, you see he hooks up to that port to do that. And then he walks over with his shirt off and there's a bunch of those similar looking things, but it's scarred over.
Right.
So it's like, wait, do they move the port?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And again, I think we're left to figure, not figure it out, but imagine it for ourselves what's going on.
Left to ponder.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, if you got a part 2 coming, you don't want to be like, well, I know everything. I don't need to see the next one.
Exactly.
So, but no, I mean, it's obvious, that he's their, the Flash Gordon villain. Ming the Merciless, right?
Ming the Merciless, yes.
Yeah, it's obvious he's that character, right? He's the one that you think you got him, and then he's back.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean that. Yes, I mean, we'll call them our quote unquote heroes. Left thinking he was done for, and they're going to be so surprised to see him back with a vengeance.
Well, not only that, but Korra knows the protocols, right? When an admiral dies,
oh right, yeah,
they return to home base.
Right.
That's the admiral's not dead.
He's not dead. No, they fixed that. So, no need to return to base.
So they're coming sooner than they're going to be expecting.
Right.
So, his comment, like, too bad there's not going to be a battle. This would be a nice place to die. Well,
It might be.
you should have knocked on wood, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have knocked on wood because they brought dude back. So, moral of the story, make sure they're dead.
Right. uh,
Yeah. What'd you think of his club?
it was a little odd. It reminded me of like a femur or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like something.
Yeah, he's beating him with a Rancor femur.
Right. A Rancor femur. Yes.
No, but yeah, I thought the same, but I thought it was. I always think it's cool when villains have that, like, preferred way of dealing with something.
Yeah. I will say it gave me a little bit of a Negan vibe from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. They kind of got their thing, their signature thing. Yeah, Negan's a good example.
Yep.
And, I mean, look at, fan art or, if they come out, I don't know if they have one. They probably do. If there's a Negan Funko Pop, I bet it's got a bat with barbed wire on it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'd bet all the dollars that there is a Funko Pop. Yes.
He's like, I bet all the dollars.
Well, yes.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we got the gist of it without like rehashing the whole story and spoiling every single thing.
Right.
But all in all, it was a good film. Really good film?
Right.
But good. I mean, I'm gonna watch part 2.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm gonna watch part 2, and it could turn out that this was really good groundwork, and part 2 can be fantastic.
Yep. I got a feeling it's going to be that way. So that's just my thoughts. I think we're gonna get some more. We're gonna get deeper into the backgrounds of everyone, and we're gonna, I don't know.
I will say this. I understand you want your bad guys to be powerful, right?
Yep.
And you want it to seem like impossible odds, right?
Right.
But damn, these are impossible odds.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't think we have any choice but to have some sort of a, you mentioned it earlier, right? This dreadnought should just enter atmosphere and open up on this village. And it's all over then. We're going to end up with some tropey, the main villain guy has to come down and soliloquy about how you don't do him wrong and, all that kind of stuff. So that's...
Or are you too scared to face me yourself?
Right. Something, yeah.
And it's just like, no, just shoot him.
Or the I know who you are now,
Right.
I have to take you back to your father,
Or you coward.
He has those orders, bring her back alive. So
yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. So there's your fly in the ointment, right?
Exactly.
You can't. Although you could just go, whoops.
Yeah, I know. I did everything I could. You raised the planet. I tried. I tried. Yeah.
I literally said, hey, if you don't come to us, I'm going to raise the planet. And she flipped me the bird, so I raised the planet.
Exactly. Yeah.
What was I supposed to do? I can't be a liar. No one else will believe me in the future.
Right. Oh, I love it.
So, I mean, what's the Regent going to do? Kill him? He's already proven that's not a problem.
Exactly.
So, but no, I mean, yeah, that is the fly in the ointment, right? You bring her back alive. And good soldiers follow orders, so.
Yep.
Oh, I know we're trying to blast off here, but I do gotta bring up too this space Skype that they do.
Okay, yep. On the frozen pond? Yeah.
They were actually connected though, so they were using the interwebs.
Right.
But man, I like the way he's like leading to the end of the conversation with banging a stick on what looks like glass or ice or whatever. It like cracks a little more.
I say ice because there was giant fish under there. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the fish.
Oh, yeah. Giant fish.
Oh. But yeah, as he's banging a stick and cracking the ice, it's like, oh, the conversation's coming to an end.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So I don't see how doing it in a like virtual setting makes it that intimidating.
Right.
It's like, okay, dude, your character's a little higher level than mine. Cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just had to point that out. I thought that was the cinematography there was pretty neat.
Oh yeah, it was good.
You know, that's how he falls back into place, is this illusion of falling through the ice. It's pretty cool.
Right on.
But yeah. All right. If y'all have anything to add, you can always email us, show@thewarsofmore.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, at The Wars of More on Twitter, X, Facebook.com/TheWarsOfMore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsofmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
Nope. I think we've covered it.
All right. We will talk next week.